Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, the gentleman Z, the homie Z, is now a college graduate. Cheer up. Give the cheers. Give the pop champagne.
Yeah.
Say R.I.P. to Max, who just committed the ultimate form of death. He died honorably.
Stay there, Max.
All right. Z, how's it feel to be a college graduate?
Gotta be real, not much different. I was already pretty much doing the same things I'm doing now, other than I can now look for jobs within my degree that require a degree, I guess.
And probably get them. Probably, maybe.
Maybe. It's very competitive now.
That, and you gotta have the experience, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, I know a guy that literally put in 150 applications to get a job, and it took him several months. So
now it took a little bit, didn't it? You didn't go straight out of high school.
No. He went out of college. He graduated a couple years back.
No, we're talking you.
Oh, yeah.
Why
what do you mean?
Why is that?
Why
didn't you go straight out of high school?
Why didn't I do what straight out? Get a job?
College. We're talking college.
I did go to college straight out of high school.
It took you this long? You dumb?
To graduate?
You stupid? You little dumb?
A little bit, yeah.
You can't do anything?
But I'll have you know, and I'm putting this out there so nobody can try and claim me to be fake or false or anything. I failed math 3 times? 4 times. No, 3 times. 3 times.
I failed Spanish. On the 4th. I can't really say anything.
Yeah, the first time my professor was a grad student who was teaching, I'm guessing, to get credit. And he did not know how to teach. And I would assume, I've had this experience in band and everything in high school, that when you're going for a teaching degree, they'll have you student teach classes that are not college classes. And I guess he didn't do that, or they lied about how his performance was or something, because all he did for class was he made up his own equations on the board, and then he solved them, and then said, now you should know how to do it. Homework's online.
Is that like a halfway internship kind of thing?
I had no clue.
Sounds like it.
Probably. But he's like, yeah, now you should know how to do it. Your homework's online. Get it done. And the homework program was shitty. So if you failed 2 questions, you'd have to restart the entire thing again.
That's rough.
Yeah. And I was doing fine up until the end of the semester, when there was one thing I just could not get. And I believe it was calculus based stuff for an algebra class. And I was like, okay, I'll just try it on the test. Bombed the test. And then I retried, taken it online. Then COVID happened. We got put out of school. And then right before finals, get an email saying, hey, online classes are still going, even though, regular classes aren't. Make sure you're done with all your work. And when I went to check later that day, our final had already passed. So that was something. Third time, I just failed.
I was never a failure of classes. I only failed 1 class, really. And even then, my teacher was sick of me. So I believe I told this story, but I was taking Spanish 1. And I needed a 70 to pass my final.
Yeah.
And I got a 50. And I come back to school, I'm like, fuck, gonna have to take it again, gonna have to take Spanish 2 senior year, get my schedule, and it says Spanish 2. So I'm like, I guess she was like, 20 points off, 20 shmoney. Yeah. Just push him through.
No, my high school Spanish teacher, he got arrested on his at 4 a.m. before school for drunk driving. And that same teacher proceeded to tell me, proceeded to tell the class, if you have a certain grade, you don't have to take the final. You're good.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, cool. I wasn't doing too bad in Spanish. I was doing pretty good, actually. But I was like, I wasn't sure because no grades were posted anywhere. So I was like, do I want to take the final? He says, I don't know. Maybe you should find out. And I was like, so I'm just going to come then. He was like, okay.
You're just gonna what?
Come to the final.
Whose final?
The Spanish final.
You came to a Spanish final?
No, stop it.
I know, it's just not working. I'm really beating it in the head trying to make it work.
It's not working. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'll just show up to the final. Went taking it. He's like, oh, you didn't need to be here. I was like, well, why didn't you tell me that when I asked? Took the final, still passed it. Fine and everything. And Spanish 2 comes along. He gets arrested. Comes back to class the next or later on that day after, I guess, posting bail. And was apparently, according to the next class, really angry all class.
I have a story about this, so I gotta ask. How was the ceremony?
The ceremony?
I won't say what college you graduated from. I don't know if you want that business on the streets, but...
I mean, yeah, it's fine. But the ceremony was not as bad as my mom's. My mom also graduated at the same time. Or she graduated this past Monday. Or at the time of release, a week ago. But my ceremony, we all kind of just showed up. We got our little name cards. And we went into the court, I guess, because it was taking like the basketball stadium arena. And kind of just sat down. I sat with the people that I knew within my degree, and we kind of just sat there for a hot minute. But they made us look bad because I go to an engineering school. The two biggest programs are engineering and nursing. So we get in there, and they're deferring the degrees or whatever it's called. They're having us stand up and saying, "I present you your degree," and sit down, and then we'll walk up to the stage, and get our what's it called, the holders, diploma holders, diploma covers. They mail us their diplomas later, and they're calling up all the degree programs, the schools, colleges, and then they're like, well, the 301 engineering degree or engineering graduates stand up, and we're sitting behind them in the fine arts section because I graduated with a graphic design degree.
All them fine arts graduates are a bunch of soy boy liberal cucks anyway. So fuck them.
A lot of them are. But they're like 301. Cool. We're the last college to get called up because they went in alphabetical order. So E comes before F. And they're like, well, the fine arts students stand up. And there's our 3 little rows of people standing. And we're just like, yeah. After all that applause for the engineering students, we kind of got like a pity clap.
Well,
like
you are in the South. Let's remember that.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of Biden hating, slightly racist, but claims to not be because, their daughter's dating a black guy.
Yeah. Or they have a black friend or something. When
the fine arts people stand up, I'm surprised you didn't just hear Trump 2024 pussy.
I'm surprised, actually. Some people I knew that were there, but I ended up graduating with 2 of my managers that worked at the same place as I do. And I didn't know it because from where we were sitting, I couldn't see anything. So, yeah, that's how that went.
2 things of my graduation that I remember, and I didn't graduate college. I went to a semester of college and stopped going halfway through. But for my high school graduation, 1, there was 17 valedictorians.
Oh,
17.
Same. Oh, I think we had 12.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I got out and my mom was like, what was good with that? I was like, I don't know. She was like, isn't valedictorian like that's the person that's like number 1?
The number 1
and
person,
I'm like,
yep.
I think that's what I got told growing up. But there was, and they each had their own personal video saying like who they think, how they did it, and how they'll miss high school. And I'm sitting there like, it's been 45 minutes. Can we not do that?
Yeah, my high school graduating class was 760 something people, and we had 12 valedictorians.
That's disgusting. That's
and every single one of them had a
trophy
speech.
type shit.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Yeah, and I knew personally about half of them and was just like, for one, good job, 4.0 all the way. But two,
MAGA come
why the
or whatever
fuck
that's
did they
called.
have everybody that was a valedictorian have a speech?
Yeah, why?
We had literally 3 sets of twins up there.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
just like,
disgusting.
come on, man.
I guess they're twins. They're kind of the same person. So I guess they tie. Why don't you go trade bar for bar? That's your speech. Back and forth. Do a little duet.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool, fine and dandy. And then, of course, college graduation, all the PhD, the doctorate people came, and they were like saying their thesis or whatever their like specific field was, and a lot of that shit flew over my head.
Yeah, no, I'd be in the crowd going.
I'm pretty sure during the back to high school graduation, I'm pretty sure I did fall asleep during that.
I'm lucky I didn't, but I was so uncomfortable, and I got really, really angry because of one dumb fucking person, okay? People have their flaws. I just hate when people are delusional, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This person was maybe 5'7", and they were wide, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They were wide. Now, what tipped me off first, I'm a big guy. I'm fat. No height. Not healthy.
Yeah, you're
not
fat.
a healthy human being.
Yeah, you're really big.
But you can sit next to me on a bus or an airplane, and you'll be cool, right? I'm not one of those fat guys that overflow into the seats next to me, right?
Yeah.
Especially because I'm aware of how big I am, so I try to be
Try
as
to make
small as
yourself
possible.
smaller. Yeah, that's what I do.
This person, their flesh was leaking into my chair, pressing against me. And I feel them going, like I'm leaking into their seat. First that pissed me off. Second, they were, like I said, they're sitting right next to me this entire time. Mm-hmm. And y'all know how graduations go. They do it by row. Row stands up, goes. Row stands up, go. Yeah, all the way back.
Yeah.
Well, this row stands up in front of us, and I'm not lying to you. This chick with the same dimensions as this person sitting next to me. Same height, same weight, same shape. The only difference was one was white, one was black. Only difference. This chick stands up in front of us, and this bitch next to me goes, she likes her food. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Who are you? And her friends around her start laughing. And I'm like, y'all support this?
That's not right.
Like, I'm not. Okay, listen, I'm going to go through all of it right now. I'm not into fat shaming. I'm not into bullying. That bitch should have been bullied more. That is enabling behavior. Holy
at least
shit.
like own up to your own flaws, and you can't just say, yeah, no, I'm not fat, I'm big boned, but that person right there, she likes her food, she must be big.
Yeah,
like,
even though she looks exactly like you. Holy shit, dude. I thought about that all night. I was steaming.
Oh yeah. Now my one pet peeve with my high school graduation was the fact that I had 12 years perfect attendance because of doctor's notes. I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't miss a single day of school. I know I missed a lot. But they made a mention of that in our rehearsal. And when it came to the actual graduation, they didn't tell me that I was supposed to stand up for that, for any sort of recognition. So here I am halfway asleep, and they called me out for 12 years perfect attendance, and they look in my direction. And the people, my neighbor next to me, they like do a little nudge, and they're like, stand up. And I was like, huh? Okay.
I imagine the SpongeBob Patrick meme where he's on the couch. He's like, Z, and you're just...
Bro, I was about to knock out during that.
I'm very shocked I didn't. There was almost, like you, 700 kids. You did it at MTSU, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was almost 700 kids in that little... I'm so shocked I didn't pass out.
I was about to, but I was like third row from the front because of my last name. So That was
I was 5. I was dead in the middle, which is pretty good. Oh, did someone sneak an air horn in?
like from in the crowd or like
No, did someone sneak an air horn in?
not that, I mean, as far as I was aware, there wasn't any like rules against it.
So, this bitch got some comeuppance, right? Okay, because she was behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So my name got called, and what I found out later was my uncle snuck an air horn in, but he like disassembled it and had it in 3 different suits. It was like sneaking a gun onto a plane. I'm very
Christ.
scared if
For the
he ever
record, don't
turns to
do
the dark
that
side.
anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to know at all times where he is on September 11th. But disassembled it, and it's not a problem. You know, people won't have a problem with it. He's white. He's not brown, so a lot of people won't have an issue.
They're
with it.
immediately accepting. Yeah.
But 3 different parts in like his wife's bag, his kid's bag, and his bag.
Not involving the kid.
This was a situation.
Uh-huh.
But they brought it in, and as soon as my name was called, just air horn for like 10 seconds. But they kept going. So they announced this chick's name, but nobody could hear because of the air horn. Of course, I sat back down, and everybody was like, oh, that air horn was my family, whatever. And I was like, no, I know who did that.
Yeah,
And I think that's when I
graduation-
settled down,
Oh,
because that chick did not get her name announced, but still had to walk the stage. And I was like, yeah, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, no. And then there comes my mom's graduation. Hers was also at MTSU this past week, and they had an 80-year-old graduating.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good for them.
yeah. She
Wasn't
got
it like
hella applause.
Wasn't it like the because I can't hear you clearly, I just heard the essence of what you just said. So I thought what my brain came up with what you said was, and she had hella ass.
I'm not going to make that comment.
Man, that
At all.
80-year-old that graduated, she got ass.
No, she got applause. I know I'm saying this twice for anybody that can hear my side of the story, but yeah.
Granny turning heads. And she got ambition.
They said, let me get on that wheel.
No, it wasn't like the founder of Wendy's. He went back to high school because he wanted to set a good, like he didn't finish high school. And
I
he
know
wanted
nothing of that.
Yeah, he wanted to set a good example for kids around the world that they can't just like skip out of high school and do what he did. So he went back to high school in his 70s.
Nice.
I believe it was the founder of Wendy's.
That's a round of applause. Yeah.
Good for him. Good for
Yeah,
him.
now today you can't get a job like that without a high school diploma at the very least.
Starting a whole company? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Well, I mean, getting to the point of being like a CEO or something,
Yeah.
which is kind of, fucked, but oh well.
Do you have any regrets from school?
Other than the fact that I failed enough classes to almost make me take another semester, not really. Other than the fact, I mean, I guess my taking a semester off was kind of a regret because I would have been done probably a year ago at this point if I actually stuck to it as hard as I wanted to. But I couldn't pay for school very easily, so yeah, I had to work. Which is, I mean, that's how I met you. So
Which there's always a downside to everything. So, you thought I was going to say upset, but I said downside.
I guess
Laughing to hide
that's
the
on
tears.
You. Yeah.
I wish, and if there's any people in high school right now that are listening to this, I really wish I gave a shit more. I really, really
Well,
do.
I
And
guess Go ahead.
evidence of that. What did you get on your ACT?
22.
Same. And I didn't try at all.
I tried very fucking hard.
I skimmed through the test and I wanted to get it over with. And I still got a 22, which I regret not trying now because I feel like shit when I hear people say like, oh yeah, I got 30s and I was disappointed. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? But
Yeah.
if I tried, I'm not trying to like flex, but I probably could have gotten like a 25, 26.
I mean, okay, here's another example of that. I got a friend who was very much not geared towards school. And he did graduate too recently from a different school. But he got a 36 on his ACT.
Mm.
And I was just like, that's bullshit. Jealousy speaking.
Yeah.
But because I was like, bro, I was doing so much better at you to school when you just pop up with a 36. But he's a very good test taker, and I am not. But I think with his grades, he could have gotten a full ride to the school I graduated from because we all went to the same college for a little bit. But he decided school wasn't for him and then moved back in with his parents to try and go for a not an associate's,
master's,
no lower, like a
doctorate,
no, like field work, but I can't think of this for the life of me.
associate, bachelor.
Yeah, associate. It's like on par with an associate's at this point.
It's
from
one of
like
the diplomas.
Yeah. From like TCAT or something, I think is what he was going for. But he eventually ended up going to community college, and then he graduated from there with, I believe, his bachelor's.
Why did he not go to a big school?
It cost a lot more. And while he would have gotten discounts because I believe his mom is a teacher, it would have still costed a lot. And he already felt
FAFSA stuff.
He did. That's where that's where part of the discount comes from, is they get your parents like job information and finances and all that. But he already felt bad because he had practically failed out of this college. And his parents are paying for it, of course. And he was like really torn up over that, but he decided to go back and he graduated. So,
see, I didn't feel bad because Amazon was paying for my tuition. So if money's going to be wasted, that bald-headed, rocket-flying, dumb fucking asshole that is Jeff Bezos.
Penis rocket.
The 22 could have gotten me easily into MTSU. Of course, the cost or whatever. But I could have gotten a few grants, but I didn't even try. And I know I've said it on this podcast before. The reason I didn't really try is I didn't think I'd make it to 20. But that's really not an excuse because I was still sitting there. I was still living. And your life isn't over if you make mistakes and you don't go to college or you don't do whatever. Your life isn't over. You're in your early 20s, right? I'm having to constantly remind myself of that. I'm turning 23 next month, right?
Yeah.
23 years, not even 23 years on this planet. And I feel like a failure because of like regrets I have. And you shouldn't feel like that because you're just starting your life. And even if you did misstep, you could have gone to college and you didn't, or you could have tried and you didn't. Start trying now, you know?
I mean, on the I guess, I'm not even going to say devil's advocate, but I mean, college isn't for everybody, and that's for you to decide whether you want to go or not, or whether it's for you or not. You can't say you failed life because you didn't go to college, and maybe it just wasn't your thing.
Well, I'm speaking, there's paths you can take, and saying like, oh yeah, college isn't for everybody, I feel like it leads a lot of people with the mindset I had into bad situations. Because it's just like, oh yeah, you don't have to do it, so like, it's whatever. It would be best for you out of high school, military, trade school, or college.
Trade school. That's what I was trying to think of. That's what my friend wanted to do.
There you go.
Yeah.
But military, serve the country, you get phenomenal benefits for the rest of your life. You get college for free, and you get training in a certain type of field as long as you're not part of the infantry. One thing everybody that I know that went to the military said, if you go to the military, do not get in the infantry. You're not going to learn any skills that you'll need for real life. You're just going to know how to use a gun and how to take care of a gun. That's it.
Yeah, I've got friends in the Air Force and the Marines. And my friend in the Marines, I think she's stationed in Hawaii right now. And I haven't heard from my friend in the Air Force, but last I remember he was in Germany. But they said, I mean, from what I hear, it's not a bad gig. For one, I mean, you get paid and you don't have to spend any of your own money, especially while you're deployed. Because, I mean, you get stipends for just about everything. And then when they eventually decide, if they decide they want to go to college or whatever, it's paid for.
It's paid for. And I know the VA has a bad reputation.
It does.
Among guys who got out of the military, but it's still there. And when it works, it's phenomenal. My grandfather still uses it. And he's been out of the military for almost 40 years now.
Mm-hmm. My great uncle.
If you can work with your hands, I hate when people say, just go to trade school. Don't go to college. We need every aspect of society. Let's not get it twisted. But if you can work with your hands and you can't do the academic stuff, or you just want to work with your hands and do those jobs, go to a trade school.
Yeah.
And if you want to go to college, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, whoever, go to college. Everybody wants to tell you it's a scam. If you use it properly, it's not a scam. Should it be as expensive as it is? That's a debate.
That's a debate, yeah.
That's a debate. But it's not a scam if you use it properly. Again, my grandfather has business degrees, never used it in his life. A lot of people will make the joke, you just get a $30,000 wall ornament. And that's on, the lower end of college tuition.
I think my debt's lined up to be somewhere around almost 40 at this point.
But you can hop straight into the workforce. I did, but it'd be much better. Yes, you start off in a lot of debt, but depending on what job you do, you can pay it off pretty quickly. And I know Biden keeps saying like, oh, we're going to forgive it. Oh, we're not. Oh, we're going to I forgot I said that. Did I say that? I know he keeps saying student loan forgiveness, but that is an idea that is going to happen in the future. Now, is it going to be fully?
That's a whole debate that I really don't want to get into.
It's a whole debate, but that seems like one of the things that's inevitable. Yeah. Same with a lot of, that's a whole episode in of itself.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying all this to say, yes, college is not for everyone, but college, trade school, military, it's a whole lot better than throwing yourself into the workforce and seeing what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a friend who graduated last semester, I want to say, with the business degree, and almost immediately he applied to jobs and was getting like manager type roles offers. And I mean, he got one now, and then his girlfriend is going for her master's or doctorate in pharmacy. And when she graduates, that's an immediate, I want to say, $30, almost $40 pay raise for her at her current job.
Damn.
An hour.
See.
And she'll come out with a master's in business too, because they just offered that to her.
And I want to address, because people will hear that and be like, well, Jack, well, Z, you got to have experience, and not everybody's taking college diplomas as just a thing that you're automatically hired.
That's true. That may be true, but it also depends on how you play your cards.
I forgot where this quote is from. I think it's from Good Will Hunting, actually. Well, it's a version of it. If you just see every negative thing that can happen from your action or from a step you take, how are you going to get anywhere? Yeah. Bettering your education is a objectively positive thing to do. Mm-hmm. Going to a trade school, objectively positive thing to do. Military, debatable. Alcoholism, homelessness, government's real fucky. But you can't just see every negative thing in front of you. You can't just hear every negative thing about a certain thing and not do it, because you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
With content creation, throwing myself at it, I knew that it sucks starting off because nobody sees your shit, even though it doesn't matter how much work you put in. I know that people are shitheads, asshole shitheads, especially when you look like me. I mean, look at me. I'm not that pretty. I'm surprised I don't hear my lady's footsteps running down the hallway to smack me in the back of the fucking head. But if I just saw all that, and I get in my head and be like, no one's watching this, no one cares, you suck at it, then I'm not going to go anywhere, right? I'm not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to be stuck in this place, drinking alcohol on your mother's couch, wondering where the time went, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that.
Yeah. I take my I've been asked so many times, like, what am I going to do now? And my answer right now is, I don't know, for being honest. But I do know that I do have a starting point. Because, I mean, I very well could just start my own business with my degree. It's not hard. I'm not saying that I'll get traction, but to have my own business, I have connections. I know people that would need stuff. That's not going to be the difficult part. The difficult part will be trying to find an actual, like, office, white-collar job because it's so competitive. So, I mean, yeah, sure, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I can take the time to figure that out. I'm young enough, for one. That's why, I mean, it's good to start young.
And I want to say, not to be all doom and gloom about throwing yourself in the workforce, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can apply yourself. You can rise in the ranks of companies without a college diploma. It's not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
My lady did not start working until last year. And we moved into our own place together in 2020. I was making enough money, just enough to support us both.
Mm-hmm.
But she got a job, and within a year, she is one of the top people there. She leads an entire building of people now.
I was going to say, yeah, she's getting her own building.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole lot, but basically she's in charge of a lot of people now, and she's in charge of the management of an entire sector of that building within a year. Now, me working in a warehouse, slacking off as much as I do, that's not going to go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, it could, but
if you rewind, this is just what I'm going to say. Whatever you do, just apply yourself in the best way, and know K-N-O-W, not N-O. I almost said N-O-W, and then I would have been real fucking stupid. I don't want to sugarcoat it. There is better routes than others. A lot of people say, oh, you could do anything. You could do this. There are objectively better routes than others. And we've said those better routes. But whichever one you choose, apply yourself. Do it in the best way you possibly can. Find any way, get better every day, and network, you know?
Networking is just about everything when it comes to businesses. But also, I mean, as you said, apply yourself, but don't take shit. Because in today's business world, that really won't get you anywhere up higher. It'll just it'll give you more work. And I know that's a bad look, but that's what a lot of businesses do. They look out for the company and not for the employee, it's kind of shitty, but understandable at the same time because they do want to make a profit. But you just got to know how to do your job, do it well, and try to climb that ladder.
I'm going to use my lady for an example. And it's an example of what you were getting at. Know your worth. Apply yourself. Be a good employee. Right? Yep. Rise to the ranks. Get better pay. All that stuff. But know your worth. Know what you can handle. Know what you shouldn't take.
Yep.
My lady, while she is a very good employee, and she is widely known in her company as one of the best employees they have, possibly the best employee they have,
Mm-hmm.
She's also got the label of a little hard to deal with because she's not going to roll over. She's not going to take any scummy like a couple things have happened to where her big boss, the one that is over her, the way she has talked to him a couple times, he has shut down, turned around and sat down, right? I'm not trying to make my lady sound like a big, boss, but this is how she acts. And she's had people walk up to her and be like, "You talk to him that way?" She's like, "Yeah, he treats us like shit half the time. So why should I?" And they're like, "Oh my God." Okay. Walk away.
And if I'm going to follow that point with cover your ass, because a lot of people, places will try and like do some shady shit to set you up. If you've got the documentation, they can't do shit. And even if they do, sue them.
Yeah, know your rights.
It's like, I know my mom, especially. I'm a big mother advocate because my mom's a single mom. She had to deal with me for 23 years.
Big mom guy.
She had to deal with me for 23 years. I got to give her worth. But like at her job now, she works at a hospital, and she's gotten like awards for being like really good with her patients. She's been at that hospital for 6 months, I want to say 6-7 months. 3 awards already. She got, from the last time I had seen her, because I don't live in the same town, obviously. She had gotten this one award for having a super good rapport with her patients. And then I come back for her graduation, and she's got 2 more sitting there on the fridge. And I was like, dang. All right. So, I mean, she's doing good, and she's not taking, she don't take shit. So she knows how to deal with people.
I hate to turn this into like talking up people outside of ourselves, but my lady, and you just reminded me of this, and I told you about this. I don't think I've said it on the pod. My lady used to work at a building, and it was same company, just different apartment building. Yeah. And there was a situation that happened to where she had to leave that building, go to a new one, which sucks because she was up for the lead there. And because of this situation, she got knocked back a little bit. Her fault. I'm not blaming anyone else. Her fault in that situation. But when she left, when she got removed from that building, when the people of that building, the people living in that building, she works at apartment complexes in Nashville, for anybody wondering. When the people found out that she got removed, the same day, all of them gathered in the lobby, cornering damn near the manager, the dude who oversees every production in that building. Yeah. They cornered him in the lobby and was demanding she get her job back. Demanding it. Of course, it didn't happen. But she gets the label of hard to work with, but that is one of the reasons why she's the best employee there. It's because she knows how to talk to people. Yeah. Right? And that's just a story that you reminded me of. I'm not good at talking to people. I'm not good networking, right? I know a couple people, but no one that's going to hit me up like, hey, this opportunity, maybe Raph. Maybe Raph, but I don't know if I could handle the door stopper for hours a day.
I could. Raph was fun to work with.
But if y'all could flip a switch, like in my content, I like to flip a switch. I'm a very heightened version of myself. If you saw me out in real life, I'm not screaming. I'm not laughing loud. I'm not talking loud. I'm not talking a lot. I'm very quiet. Am I. I can turn that switch on. I can't turn that switch on with just random people at work or at school. I'm just there to get the job done. If you can flip a switch to be an extroverted person and be magnetic, it's a hard thing to do, but if you can be magnetic, it's one of the best things you possibly can do. Yeah,
for sure. I've literally had interviews in the past where they've hired me on the spot just because of how I projected myself to be. And I can tell you straight here, I am not the kind of person I am here or at work, I I'm usually much more introverted into myself and just quiet in general. I kind of have RBF, and I'm pretty sure some people have noticed at work when I'm like not talking to anybody, just kind of focused on a task or something. But like I've had like at my last job especially, like I'm still in the group chat because they don't want to they don't want to remove me. They love me so much, and of course, I mean it wasn't their fault that I had to get fired, but it was they liked me to the point where they kept me in. Like I know somebody else who was a much more extroverted person than I am, and they booted her so fast when she got fired, and it was just like, damn. I guess I had a good rapport with these people. Like they like me. I've got people telling me updates on work that I could already see because I'm still in the group chat. I saw one guy at my new job, and he was like, "Yo, man, we miss you around there." Like, it's like, damn, that's nice.
The first time I got pointed out that I had RBF was by my mom. It was pretty disrespectful.
How'd she do it?
I was waiting for my dad, and I was like walking up and down a sidewalk, and like a whole group, I forgot who was in it, but my mom was standing on top of the front steps. There was a whole group sitting down, and she looked at me and she was like, "What's your problem?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, she took a picture of me, and she was like, look at this person. Do you think anyone wants to talk to this person?" And I was like, sick. I appreciate that. Man, I wonder why I had such low confidence. I got my football coach talking about my jumbo head, and I got my mom talking about how non-approachable I am.
That's so funny, but so depressing at the same time.
Oh, it sucked. It hurt.
It was just like, damn, from my own mom.
Damn. It's like...
my mom doesn't notice mine because she also has an RBF, so...
It's like, there's nothing wrong with being gay, don't take it like this, but it's like you get no bitches growing up. Just none. So your dad immediately thinks you're gay. See,
I got that story. I had many friends that were girls that later I've noticed were actually showing interest in me, and I just never picked it up. And my stepdad at the time was just like, you don't have a girlfriend, do you? I was like, no. And then he gave me this look, and I was like, no, I'm not gay. And he said, whew. I was like, that hurt.
The deep breath is worrying. The
yeah.
Much more worrying than I had. My little brother hated people. He doesn't like people. Mm-hmm. He has a lady now, but he met her because they both hate people. They both don't like talking to people, but they like talking to each other. It's a nice little thing. And he's set up. She is from Sweden, little long distance type thing, right? Okay. Which I don't judge. I had a long distance thing with an Australian chick. I don't judge. I might tell that story one of these days. Maybe a Valentine's Day episode, but I don't judge. Mm-hmm. Dude, this chick is loaded. Her family is loaded. They go on family vacations every single year, I think 3 times a year. And they live on a lake. They live on a lake.
See, your little brother sounds like my friend whose girlfriend's dad works with like a bunch of like stadiums and everything, like event planning or whatever it is, and they get like free tickets everywhere. This dude is in Stockholm right now on a trip. He's been out of the country like 3 times this year alone.
Oh, I thought you were saying he's in Stockholm syndrome. Like he hates...
No.
He hates the family, but he's staying because of all the shit he gets. All the benefits. No.
He's just out of the country.
She bites my dick when she gives me head.
Dude had a 9-hour layover in Chicago. And I think he said... Let's see if I can pull up the receipts here. Because he said they did some shit that I'm just like, all right, bro. I guess you got it like that. Because I was high-key jealous. He said, and I quote, let's see. Nope. It deleted. Better. That's sad.
It's much better than the hole my lady's family left her in.
Mm-hmm.
Much, much better.
Oh, no, here we go. He had a 20-hour layover because his flight got delayed, and instead of just chilling, waiting to get in a hotel room or something, he went to a Cubs game and ate at a expensive restaurant that I can't pronounce the name of, but I've been there when we went to Chicago a couple years back.
As a sports fan, baseball games are heavy underrated. But like, older generation will tell you it's some of the best games to go to, but the newer generation, they're like, it's too boring. I don't want to go to a baseball game. But like, I haven't even been to an MLB game. Nashville Sounds over here. Mm-hmm. Those games are fun. They're a chill time. And I got to see like a 10-point comeback, which was insane. Unheard of in baseball. Crazy.
Yeah.
But back to my little brother. No bitches. No girlfriends at all. Mm-hmm. And my dad thought he was gay. Just thought he was gay. I don't know why that's your first instinct was like, oh, maybe he's just not good with women. No, he's a homosexual. Right? I'm not going to say which family member did this, but I was talking to one of my family members and they revealed this to me. And they were like, I've said it before, my family's very Christian, conservative, the stereotypical stuff. Yeah. So this family member was sitting in their truck, and of course it was a truck, and
Ford F-150.
They're like, I guess I would have to accept him. No, I wouldn't. No, because that's fucking bullshit. And I was like, oh my God, dude.
They riled themselves up over something that wasn't true. That's great.
That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. This is the same family member that sent an article of someone saying that the reason Europe is so fucked right now is because they let Muslims in.
I remember you telling me about that family member, actually.
Yeah, same family member. And they put with that, they said, hey, this is a good read that will show you evidence or whatever. It was just yap session of a bigot. That's what I described it as. Didn't
they also send something that was obviously an edited picture and thought it was real headline?
Yeah, so they're big Facebook people. Facebook people. And I've had to call them out a couple times because they've shared those obviously fake. You click on it and in the corner it says satire news, but they never click on it. They just share it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the things they shared was it was a CNN news broadcast picture, right?
Yeah.
It had the screen and it had the CNN banner or the tracker or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And in that tracker, it said Antifa proven to be behind January 6th. So family member shares it and says, I knew it all along. And I press it and it's the worst Photoshop you've ever seen. It's like Times New Roman pasted over the scene. And I'm like, this is fake. It's obviously fake. And
fake.
He was like, well, I'm leaving it up because I still think it's true.
By the way, the mindset behind some people.
By the way, these same people that are so thirsty to blame January 6th on Antifa claim it was nothing but a nice stroll through the Capitol. So how are you thirsty to blame it on the other person, yet you don't feel shame for it? That doesn't make any sense to me. This pod is taking a weird...
It's a weird turn.
Weird and tangent, but I'm
trying to keep my opinions YouTube agreeable because we did get episode 2 of our podcast taken down
for bullshit. By the way, learned, and I'll tell you after. I learned something about that whole thing.
Okay. But back to school. Because that's where we started.
Because some people need to go back to school, right?
Yes. But
so, considering school, do you think transgenderism should be taught to kindergartners? I'm sorry. I know we said we weren't going to do this, so you wanted to keep your... So, what do you think about CRT?
CRT?
Critical race theory.
I didn't know nothing of that.
Have you not heard about CRT?
No.
It's one of the biggest talking points about how school is going woke and the school is brainwashing children. And it says, like, CRT is racist to white people. It's like...
For the record, YouTube. This is not any factual information that we are sure, or at least that I am not sure of.
YouTube's a bunch of liberals, dude. You can say I said cracker and the video didn't get taken down. All right,
that's true. He said it again. So
as long as we don't just go heavy on the like, oh, the schools are full of a bunch of woke ideology. What is woke? I don't know. Look it up.
But I mean, I've heard of something like that, I guess, but it's more towards the workforce than school. So I've not heard of CRT at all.
CRT, to its basic, and this is school related, so y'all can, and it's the last 10 minutes of the podcast, so whatever. CRT, in its most basic form, is basically, in theory, supposed to be teaching the true nature of racism tied to America's past, and not just like, oh yeah, slavery happened, and then civil rights, but nothing else, right? No massacres.
It is kind of how it's taught to me.
No leveling of Black Wall Street. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen. 70s, 80s, and 90s, everything was good until Obama, right? Because that's what they say. Dude, I'm so sick of hearing about how the 90s were a beautiful time, that everybody was loving everybody, and everything changed because Obama got in office and now everybody wanted to be racist again. What are you talking about?
That's very true. Like, what are you talking about? Because, I mean, like, even during Obama's presidency, I, again, was, for one, too young to really care. I had no say in any of it, so it just kind of didn't matter to me. But, I mean, looking back on it, I don't see really any issues besides the fact that things were just glossed over. Like, in school, the deepest we went into slavery was probably, I want to say, like, high school modern U.S. history. And they talked about the routes, the slave routes that were taken, like the Middle Passage, I think.
The Underground Railroad?
No.
No?
That was that wasn't a slave trade.
Oh, I thought you were just talking about slaves in general.
No.
My fault.
No, I mean,
we kind of went. It's the white Southerner getting something wrong. I wonder what schools he went to.
We kind of glazed over it and then went into the. Wow, everything's slipping my mind as I talk about it now. But we kind of went into like MLK and everything about that. And that's kind of what it was, and that was the end of it. It
was MLK, it was Malcolm X, and you were taught Malcolm X was more radical MLK.
I didn't realize that Malcolm X was like, I didn't get his full scope until college. That's how bad it was. Like,
no, yeah, because they wanted to preach MLK, put the tinfoil hat on, because MLK was the one that was just marching and shouting his stuff, and Malcolm was the one to, like, burn these fucking things to the ground.
Yeah, I didn't get all of that information until college when they actually delved into it, and it was just like, oh.
I didn't get all the information recently that our founding fathers were a bunch of slave owning bastards. Not only slave owning bastards, I guess. They were shitheads to their slaves. Oh my God, were they bad? And a lot of patriots will come at that and be like, oh, actually, I read this book. No, they were shit. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, wasn't good.
George Washington's dentures had slave teeth in them. Yeah. And you're going to try to convince me that this guy was good to his slaves? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a whole to-do that was straight up just skipped in a lot of courses.
But that is
even then, I didn't know that until I looked it up for myself.
That is my basic understanding of critical race theory, is that it's just telling the true story behind that. A lot of people say, oh, it has to do with law to try to make that more equal. A lot of people want to say, no, it's just saying white people are evil. I don't believe that. That's coming from a lot of people that, like, there was a book what was this book? There was a book Ted Cruz got real anal about because this like black girl, it was like a children's book, and it was about a little black girl that like loved herself and was loving all races, but he was trying to, I don't know. It was a weird fucking thing. These anti-woke fucking dipshit. Did you go through your anti-SJW phase?
Anti-SJW?
Yeah. Were those
Still
compilations?
kind of am.
Huh?
I still, I mean, I saw a lot of those compilations, yeah.
Yeah. Did you say you still are? You still watch those?
No, I don't still watch those. I'm still kind of anti-SJW.
Okay. Well, I watched a lot of those back in 2016 when they were really popping off.
Yeah.
And that's how
that was a time,
freshman
man.
me, I know how the world works because I saw Steven Crowder own a liberal.
No, I just think that there are extremes to both sides of this, like this ongoing debate in government and how people are treated. And it's just like, at a certain point, you just become a white knight that it's just not worth it, in my opinion, because you're speaking for people who have already spoken for themselves, and then you're taking how they feel and interpreting it in the way that you think that's how they feel. Therefore, everything somebody else does must be wrong or racist or ableist or whatever. It's just kind of like, bro, shut up, because you don't know who they are, what they went through, or anything, and even then, they're making their own jokes about it.
I hate when people speak for a group, especially when it's a group that they aren't in, but they speak for that group. And let's say they're speaking for black people. And then a black person comes along and says, actually, this was my experience, and I don't see it that way. And they're like, well, you're an Uncle Tom. What?
No, I've had almost that exact same experience happen to me. I've had somebody come, like somebody I know, not really friends with, I just kind of knew them, and they were talking about something that had to do with like black people, and I was just like, that's wrong. And they're like, what do you know? I was like, guess I know nothing.
That's why using your skin color to say, I know more about this subject than you because I'm this, and you use that to try to invalidate someone's... I hate when people say, don't invalidate my experience, because when someone says like, oh yeah, I got out the hood by like getting into the military and getting a nice house, and they're like, well, not everybody can do that. Why are you invalidating my experience? I've heard that conversation. And then it's like, well, why are you invalidating his by saying no one else can do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're invalidating his, I don't know. know.
It's a whole topic that, I mean, we can have if anybody would like that, but it's just, it's a whole thing.
I will add these into episodes. I will never have an episode fully dedicated to that because I don't know. I will admit I have my opinions. Mm-hmm. A lot of them aren't informed enough to be solid, steady opinions.
I can say for sure mine aren't informed enough either. Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean,
that's why I haven't told you this. I'm going to tell you it right now on air. You can cut it out if you want. But when you said that two of the topics that were proposed to us was unionization and the TVA, I was like, there's two things wrong with that. One, the TVA is such a small audience, and I don't know dick about it outside of FDR made it as one of the ways to get us out of the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And unionization, that's just for fucking commies. And we're not going to have that fucking bullshit on this podcast.
I will say this. I mean, I don't really have to cut it out or anything, but those were not my own ideas. Those were ideas for a guest that we were planning on having that eventually wasn't in the right space to do so.
And if they listen to this, we're not making fun of you.
It's a very targeted audience.
It's a targeted audience, and it's like, yeah, let's have a fun little podcast. Okay, let's talk about unionization. You fucking commie. Actually, if you do listen to this, you fucking communist bastard. You Russian sympathizing, Putin sucking, red fucking bastard. Don't ever come in my fucking Discord with no Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx, dick-sucking bullshit.
Now, let's take your view here and transfer it over because there are good sides to it. I'm not saying everything's good. I'm not saying it's
okay. We're in this
ideal.
fucking podcast right now. We're not capitalism, motherfucker. Kill or be killed. Those who die with the most toys wins.
I feel like you're taking a very hard stance on this here.
Shut up. You sound like a fucking peasant. You're part of the poor, aren't you? Don't want to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, huh?
No.
The salaries aren't enough. Oh, the rich are just getting richer. Oh, I can't feed my family. Shut the fuck up, pussy. And with that,
I'm going to take that and cry about it now. Thank you a lot.
And with that, free healthcare sounds like fucking and with that, follow us on all the socials. I'm going to start up Twitter again for a reason I'll talk to Z about. Follow us on Instagram, Red Light Homies. We're somewhat active on there. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow all the audios. Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple. Do all that. Give us 5 stars, especially. That's the most important. 5 stars. And share the show, whether that's word of mouth, whether that's you physically clicking on the little bent arrow and sending it to your friends, sending it wherever. Share the show. We love it.
And also, comment. Tell us how you think we're wrong, how you think we're right, if you agree or disagree. Just let us know.
Give us those sweet engagements. And I swear to God, if I get called a Discord mod one more time, I'm releasing your address. This has been Red Light Homies. It's your homies Jackie and Z, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace out.